My wife gave me an ultimatum at 2 a.m. from the ER, with her boyfriend beside her, I'd known for months. The call came at 2:17 a.m. Sir, your wife's in the ER, we found her with her boyfriend, you should come. Silence swallowed my breath, not grief, not shock, just stillness. My hands didn't shake during the drive. The hospital lights flickered like interrogation lamps. The doctor pulled back the sheet, my wife, pale, still breathing, the man beside her broken. Sir, there's something more you need to know, the doctor said. But I already knew. There were signs for months, late meetings, muted phone calls in bathrooms, perfume that lingered longer than her affection. She touched me like a chore now, cold dinners, colder silences. I caught her staring at me like I was a reminder of a decision she regretted. I let it play, let her drown in her fantasy, because while she hid in shadows I stood in truth, and truth is patient. I didn't confront, emotion gives away strategy. Instead I collected evidence, phone logs, bank transfers, hotel reservations under a name she claimed not to know, screenshots, time-stamped photos, GPS history she thought she'd erased. Then the ultimate blade, DNA test kits for our daughter. I mailed them quietly, waited even more quietly. Silence isn't surrender, silence is sharpening. At home, I brewed coffee, served breakfast, pretended routine was still sacred. She smiled, thin, fake, tired of pretending I mattered. Every touch felt like a hand dipping into my pocket. Every kiss felt like theft. Meanwhile, my daughter-in-law continued her little tyranny. That morning, she'd mocked me, if you want to join Thanksgiving, come wash the dishes. I replied with only one word, no. Hours later, she saw the photos, the villa in Switzerland, the one she didn't know I owned, the one she thought I couldn't possibly afford. 71 missed calls. Funny how everyone demands respect until they realize who truly holds power. The DNA results arrived, truth never screams, it simply stands undeniable. That night she walked into the living room unaware her world was already collapsing. I placed the envelope on the table, no accusations, no raised voice. She froze, smiled nervously, laughed weakly, you're acting weird. I said nothing. She opened it, saw the numbers, the percentages, the proof. Her face drained, her breath stuttered, you knew. I knew before you suspected, that's the difference between instinct and evidence. She reached for my hand, a habit from when she believed touch could heal. I pulled away. I don't punish betrayal, I told her softly, I expose it. I showed her the villa photos on my phone, the wealth she mocked, the future she believed she controlled. Her lips trembled, a queen reduced to beggar by truth. My phone buzzed, 71 missed calls from my daughter-in-law's number flashing again. They realized too late, the hand that fed them was the same hand that could carve them out. I walked to the door, she collapsed to her knees just like I had in the ER, but for her it was grief, for me it had been awakening. Please don't go. Begging suits liars. I placed the divorce papers beside her, signed weeks ago, calculated exit, perfect timing. You traded love for leverage, I whispered, now you have neither. I left without looking back, the night air felt clean, weightless. As I drove past the hospital again, the ER lights still harsh, still revealing truth, I realized, the doctor wasn't wrong, there was something more I needed to know. I didn't lose a wife that night. I lost an illusion. And illusions are only painful when you still want them. And now for the next story. She was keeping her options open on dating apps at breakfast. I kept mine open too, moved out the same day. I'm just keeping my options open, she announced while swiping through dating apps at breakfast. Smart, I said. Then I took the day off work, moved all my stuff to storage and broke the lease. She came home to an empty apartment and a text, kept my options open too, chose the option without you. I was scrambling eggs when Chloe sat down at our kitchen table, buried in her phone. Her thumb moved in steady rhythm, swipe up, pause, swipe down. Anything interesting? I asked, sliding into the chair with my coffee. Just keeping my options open, she said, eyes glued to the screen. Your options? She looked up with a condescending smile. Yeah, on Bumble it's not a big deal, it's healthy to see what's out there. She turned her phone around. You should try it. On the screen, a grid of men, her profile, active now, swiping through matches while I made her coffee in the home we shared. My heart didn't break, it iced over. I wasn't her partner, I was her placeholder while she browsed for an upgrade. I looked from the phone to her face. She was waiting for my reaction, anger, pleading, questions, ready for drama she knew she could win. I gave her nothing, I held her gaze, expression stone cold, then I nodded. Smart, I said, voice calm and low. Her smug smile widened. Right, just being pragmatic. Exactly, I agreed, standing. I picked up my keys. I'm going to be late. I walked out, didn't slam the door, just a quiet click. I didn't go to work, I sat on a park bench and made calls with terrifying clarity. First, my boss, family emergency, need the day, possibly the week. Second, storage facility, largest unit available today. Third, same-day movers, 1-bedroom apartment, everything that's mine goes to storage, 2-hour window, I'll pay premium. Fourth, landlord breaking my lease effective immediately, I'll pay the penalty fee. My girlfriend Chloe is the co-signer, you'll need to speak with her. The financial hit wiped out my savings, I didn't care, money rebuilds, self-respect is a one-time offer. At 2 p.m. the movers arrived, I directed them surgically. Couch mine, TV mine, bookshelf mine, my clothes, books, my grandfather's knife set. I left her things in pathetic piles, stuffed animals, scented candles, magazines. 90 minutes later the apartment was hollowed out, a shell containing her things and the ghost of our life. I drove to storage, slammed the door on my entire life and locked it. I was homeless and I'd never felt more free. I pulled out my phone, no missed calls, no texts. She was still at work, probably swiping through options on her lunch break. I typed kept my options open too, chose the option without you. Hit send, watched it change to read, blocked her number, deleted the thread. Next morning 8 a.m., unknown number. Leo, what the fuck, where's all our stuff, are you insane? Delete block. 11:04 a.m., new number. The landlord called, you broke the lease, my name is on it too, you've ruined my credit. Delete block. That evening, Leo, please, I'm sorry, it was a joke, you've completely overreacted. A joke? She'd shown me the knife and now claimed she was kidding about the sharpness. Silence was my answer. My buddy Mike texted, Chloe's telling everyone you had a psychotic break. I sent him the Bumble screenshot. She was swiping through guys at our breakfast table, told me she was keeping her options open, I agreed. Oh, that changes everything. A week later, new number. He was a model, just wanted my apartment for photos, then ghosted. Another asked for money, this is your fault. Her options were revealing themselves, flakes, users, somehow my fault for not staying as her safety net. Delete block. Voicemail from my landlord, Mr. Henderson, Miss Chloe cannot afford the apartment, gave her 30-day notice. Your penalty fee covers the vacancy, you were a good tenant, she's been rather difficult, accused me of conspiring with you. 6 months later I had a Riverview apartment, a promotion, and Sophia, a UX designer I'd met at a finance conference. We were at a rooftop bar celebrating when I saw her. Chloe, smaller clothes, trying too hard, the confident glow was gone. She walked over, Leo, wow, fancy place. It is. Her eyes darted to Sophia, a flash of jealousy, you look good. Sophia squeezed my arm, I'll grab drinks, she walked away with quiet power. Chloe crumpled, can we talk? What's on your mind? You just replaced me. I sipped my whiskey, I didn't replace you, I made a different choice. You told me you were keeping your options open. I realized the best option was a life where my partner doesn't browse for backups at breakfast. I gestured around. You were right, it's healthy to see what's out there, took me a day to find it. Her face went pale. You destroyed our lives over one stupid thing, she hissed. You ended our relationship with one true statement, I just finalized the paperwork. Sophia was walking back, drinks in hand, my option is waiting. I stood, took Sophia's hand and walked away, didn't look back. And now for the next story. Wife told me to use the service exit at her company gala, turned out I owned 51 of the company. My wife hissed at me as we entered her company's annual gala, my new CEO is here, don't embarrass me, you look like you don't belong, use the service exit. I just nodded calmly and left through the back. Let me back up, I was driving my wife to her company's annual gala when I noticed she kept checking her phone, nervous energy radiating off her. I'd worn my best suit, nothing flashy, but I was trying to be a good husband, supporting her career. The venue was impressive. Crystal chandeliers, waiters carrying champagne on silver trays. The moment we stepped inside, her posture changed. She became rigid, scanning the room. There he is, she whispered, pointing toward the new CEO. Then she turned to me with a look I'd never seen before, cold, almost disgusted. My new CEO is here, don't embarrass me. Her voice dropped to a harsh whisper. You look like you don't belong, use the service exit. The words hit me like a physical slap. I stood there processing what she just said while around us, conversations continued normally. You want me to leave? I asked quietly. Through the back, please, I can't have you here right now. The politeness almost made it worse, like she was doing me a favor. I walked through the venue, past the coat check, down a hallway marked staff only, and found myself in the hotel's back alley. 20 minutes, that's how long the entire evening had lasted. As I sat in my car, my phone started buzzing. Her name flashed on the screen. I let it ring. By the fourth call, curiosity got the better of me. Hello. Oh, thank God you answered. Her voice was shaking, pitched with panic. You need to come back right now, there's been a terrible mistake. I pulled over. What kind of mistake? I didn't know. She was crying now, actual tears making her voice thick. Nobody told me who you were. The CEO saw you leaving and asked Bennett who that man was. Then Olivia from accounting recognized you from the company newsletter photos. She was rambling, barely coherent. They know who your father is, Clayton Jensen, the board chairman's son, the majority shareholder. I sat watching traffic pass by and said nothing. The CEO went completely pale when he found out. He asked where you went and I had to tell him that I asked you to. Her voice broke completely. He's talking about an emergency board meeting about this. Why would there be a board meeting? Because he thinks I insulted a major investor. He thinks I treated the board chairman's family with disrespect. And my job. I almost laughed. The irony was pretty thick. She'd been worried about me embarrassing her asterisk. What am I supposed to tell them? She begged. Tell them the truth. Tell them you asked your husband to leave through the service exit because you were ashamed of him. I hung up and turned off my phone. The next morning at 9:15 my phone rang. It's over, she said before I could speak. They fired me. The board had determined that her conduct toward a major stakeholder's family member was grounds for immediate termination. No severance, no recommendation letters. They called it gross misconduct. Someone had talked to the catering staff, got the whole story. One of the board members asked if I understood the gravity of disrespecting the Jensen family, considering they were negotiating a major expansion deal. Within hours, word spread through professional networks. The job offer she'd been secretly pursuing for months, 30% pay increase, senior director position, was rescinded. We can't risk hearing someone with judgment issues, they told her. Every company she contacted recognized her name from the Jensen incident. She was effectively blacklisted. 2 weeks later, she tried one final manipulation. I've been talking to a lawyer, she said, about whether I have grounds for a different settlement. You withheld significant financial information during our marriage. You want to sue me for not name-dropping my father enough. I want fair compensation for 3 years of missed opportunities. My lawyer thinks we can make a case that you deliberately concealed assets and connections. I understood now. She was threatening to drag my family through public scandal to salvage her career. Go ahead and file, I said calmly, but you might want to ask your lawyer what happens when the defendant countersues for defamation and extortion. She was quiet for a long time. You wouldn't, it would hurt your family too. My family has dealt with business challenges before. Can you say the same about your career if this turns into a real legal battle? 3 days later I got a text, papers signed, no contest, moving to Portland next month. And now for the next story. She believed her friend's warning that I'd change after marriage. So I canceled the entire wedding, her friends' faces when she had to beg me to marry her anyway. My fiancé's friends told her he's going to change after marriage, they all do. She started getting cold feet. I said maybe they're right. Then I stopped all wedding planning and told her let's just stay dating forever. Her friends' faces when she begged me to marry her anyway. We'd been together 4 years, engaged for 1. The wedding was 6 months out, 200 guests, venue booked, deposits paid. Then one night she said, you know what, maybe they're right. My head snapped up. What? Maybe I will change, who knows, maybe all men do. You're supposed to tell me I'm being crazy. Why would I, if you already believe I'm going to turn into someone else? She went to the bedroom. I sat there staring at the guest count spreadsheet. My fiancée just told me she thinks I'm lying about who I am. The next morning I made calls, wedding venue, caterer, photographer, florist, DJ. I got cancellation policies for everything. Then I sent her one message, FYI, here's the cancellation information for all our vendors. Let me know what you want to do. She called immediately. What the hell is this? You seemed concerned. I'm giving you options. Your solution is to cancel everything. You're the one with doubts. If you don't trust me, we shouldn't get married. So you're giving me an ultimatum. Marriage without trust is just glorified roommates with a legal contract. She hung up. A text came an hour later. You're being manipulative. My reply, I'm being honest. If that feels like manipulation, maybe examine why. The silent treatment lasted 3 days. She slept in the guest room, left before I woke up. I kept researching cancellation policies. Her mom called. She says you're canceling the wedding. I explained everything. I'm not spending my marriage proving I haven't changed. That sounds exhausting. My fiancé texted. My therapist said you have a point about trust, but you're being extreme. Would you rather I ignored your doubts and pushed forward? I'd rather you reassure me. I already did that for 4 years and you still don't believe me. I hate that I let them get in my head. Then decide if you trust me or not. If you can't, we shouldn't get married. She didn't answer. Her best friend called. You're ruining her life. You spent an evening convincing her I'm going to turn into someone else. We were being honest about our marriages. Your husband stopped trying. That's a personal failure, not universal truth. When's the last time you said something nice about your husband? Silence. We hung up. They came anyway. All 5 of them showed up uninvited. My fiancé let them in. 5 women looking at me like I was on trial. We need to talk. You need to leave. Her best friend blocked my path. Not until you listen. Move or I'm calling the cops, the lease is in my name. I drove to my friend's place. When I came back, the apartment was empty. She'd left with them. Text at midnight, staying at my best friend's place, needs space. I spent 2 days actually canceling everything. Venue, caterer, all of it, lost $3,000 in deposits, worth it. She came home on day 3, saw the cancellation confirmations on the counter. You actually did it. I canceled a wedding for 2 people who don't trust each other. They said you'd do this. Either you trust me or you don't. Either you choose us or them. I choose you, do you? Your actions say otherwise. What do you want? Tell them to back off, set boundaries, stand up for us. If you can't, we're done, not just the wedding, all of it. She went to the guest room, came out an hour later. I told them they're not invited, I'm choosing you. We don't have a wedding anymore. Then we'll plan a new one without them. She sat next to me. I'm sorry for doubting you, for letting them in my head. Words are easy, what are you going to do differently? Trust you and keep them at a distance. Okay, let's get married. We planned a new wedding, 2 months out, 30 people, garden venue, family only, her friends weren't invited. Wedding day came, it was perfect. I got a text during the reception from her best friend, this is a mistake, he's going to change. My wife showed it to me, rolled her eyes, blocked the number and went back to dancing. Months later, her best friend was getting divorced, 2 others were in marriage counseling, their marriages crumbled under their own negativity.